Hey guys, so this is my first WitchCRAFTS video. Today we're going to be doing some sacred salts. This is a concept I happened upon just, I guess by chance, on Pinterest. I would give credit, but I don't know. I mean, they didn't exactly say who it was from or whatever. It was just like a picture shared, so we're just gonna go into it. I put a bit of my own twist onto it, just because I thought of things I wanted to improve or do differently. So here we go. First things first, you're gonna need a jar. I'm going to use this 1 quart mason jar. It's something simple and easy to use, and it will allow you to, just something to store it in. You can use something bigger if you want something bigger. In fact, if you have a fatter or taller one, you can probably fit more stuff in it. But for now, this is what I'm going to use. I like glass jars. The picture that I had it in like an earthen jar or something. I don't know what it was. It was like clay. But I prefer the glass simply because you can see through it and you can see all the colors and different ingredients. And it's really, I think it'll be really pretty. We shall see. I've never done this before. Just a second. Oh. As a surface so you can see what's happening. Alright, first thing, take off the lid. I'm not wholly prepared, so I might be doing like some going and getting Alright, so here we go. So as you can guess, sacred salts, the base is going to be salt. So I have several different types of salt. I have coarse sea salt as my first, and you don't want to fill it up too much. And then a couple different types of other salts. But I think first what I'm going to do is, this is rose quartz. You can't really see the pinkness very well, but it's rose quartz. So I'm going to put that in the bottom to add love and happiness and positivity. Clear quartz, put that in there, and then amethyst. You can add any stones you want. I have plenty of stones, but those are just the base of what I'm going to be putting in. For now, that's just what I'm adding. I think they're just good general things to have in a sacred salt. So those are what I'm adding. Another thing that I'm going to add is this ankh. It kept falling off of my necklace, and so I'm going to try putting it in here. I don't know how it's going to act. I think it'll be fine, but we shall see. I'm going to lean that against one of the walls. Alright. Now, let's try this. Alright, rather, I'm going to take that out and put that in last, because it's not wanting to sit up. Alright, let's try this. Sea salt. You don't want to fill it up too much because you have to fit all these different ingredients in. So I'm going to put some of this in. Alright. There's that one. Now I have here sticks of, put this one in, it's a bit fatter. Sticks of cinnamon from my local occult shop. Put that in. Alright. And then that is my coarse sea salt. Alright. And then I have coarse Himalayan rock salt. And it's a little bit coarser than my I don't know how to show y'all. This screen is not exactly working out. It's a bit coarser. I guess because it's harder and they can't grind it as, I don't know what the reason is, but the coarse Himalayan sea salt is coarser than coarse rock salt. I'm going to add a little bit more sea salt. Because I want there to be more white salt than pink salt. And this is not an exact science. Just follow your gut. Get out of the way, kiddo. Alright, now, that over there. Alright, so I have these. It is lavender. And I'm going to strip the buds off. And just add the buds. You can get the buds just by themselves, but I already had this, so I thought I'd use it for this. So let's just do that. I don't know the best way to do this. I'm just sort of like running my hands down and twisting my fingers, and that seems to be working just fine. Because they're dried on and they like to stick. So, get down, kiddo. I'm just gonna do it until I think I have enough. Rather messy though. Alright, let's see. Let's see. Get some of the chunks out. Some of the stick fell off. Alright, now this paper. So I have some patchouli. I really like patchouli. It smells amazing. Has some great properties. Some chamomile, just a little. Some rosemary. I'm just take out one dried sprig here and sort of just strip it like I did the lavender. A little bit of rosemary goes a long way. It has a lot of, I don't know how to explain it, but the little leaves are abundant on just one sprig. Down, boy. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I just make a mess. If you didn't make a mess, you're not doing witchcraft as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. And then I have these powdered eggshell. And I just, how you get powdered eggshell is when you just using eggs in the kitchen, wash out the eggs, careful of the dust, it's toxic. I don't know if it's toxic, but it certainly smells toxic. Put some of that in there. It's great for fertility and protection. By the way, for the newbies, I'm going to put the ingredients and the properties of the ingredients in just a basic overview into the description for when I do it, for when I upload it. Anyway, all right. There's that. Okay, now another salt that I have is Dead Sea salt. Just give it a little bit of variety. I'm gonna pop all of it in there because I didn't get much. And it is only marginally less coarse than the Himalayan sea salt, so it's right up there with it. Alright, now I'm going to add some essential oils. This is peppermint. I really love peppermint. It has some great properties. I'm just gonna pop some in there. Alright, now let's see if this works. This is a letter opener someone handmade, and he gave it to me because my grandma bought several hand-turned pens of his. I'm just going to use it to get that, to get the essential oil down in the bottom, you know, spread out some so it's not just clumping at the top. Shove everything back down that needs to be down. I'm going to put this in now. So from what I can tell, it's going to take quite a bit of shaking, but what you want to do is you sort of just want to get it all mixed up. They're all blended. This is why you might want a bigger jar, and I intend to get one eventually, but my budget is kind of tight and I spent all I had on the ingredients. So and it wasn't expensive. I just had, I mean, I think $30 can get you everything. So I just used this jar because I had it on hand. And yeah, so I'm going to shake it up quite a bit. You can start to see why I chose a glass bowl or glass jar. Just a really pretty blended look. And I really love the blended look on things. You can't really see everything. I guess later on, after I've shaken it quite a bit, things might find their way to the sides, like the stones and the like there you can see the, I don't know if you can, I have an awful camera on my, let's see, it's right there, you can sort of see the cinnamon stick, but it'll get better as I shake it. You just want to shake it until it's blended enough that you're happy. Now, this is what I would call a base. It's not the finished product because there is no finished product. The idea of sacred salts is you keep doing it over years and years and years. You add stuff to make it personal. You add... One thing I'm going to add, if you give me just a second, is some hair. Now, be careful that you don't fuck up your head while you do it. And you don't need much. I mean, hair is pretty potent as far as personalization and such. So I'm just gonna sort of, I guess, right here, I'll just grab one. I'm just gonna sort of chop it up in there. got is sort of chopped up in there. This one on the side here. Let's see it. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get a bigger one. I'll know next time. Anyway, so you get the idea. You can add spit, blood, hair, ingredients that just vibe with you really well. If you really like, lavender, then put lavender in there. If you really like patchouli, put patchouli in there. I put the ingredients that felt right to me. You can do really anything. And the idea is 4 years from now, 5 years from now, every time you have something you feel is especially special, you add it. So, you use it, you're using it, it can replace salts. Sometimes it can be a spell in and of itself. If you just need a bit of power or energy boost or positivity boost or something, it can be a bit of a spell itself. But it can replace salt in your spells. If you can model it to different properties if you want it to be more calming. Because I was going to put espresso in mine, or coffee beans, or something like that, because I'm a very depressed person. I constantly have to fight staying in bed and moping. So I was going to think about doing espresso, but my other problem is I'm a very mentally hyper person, and I didn't think that would be good. I'm thinking I'm probably going to get a howlite to put in there for some calming effects. The amethyst does a bit of that. Whatever you feel you need in your life at that time, add it. And it will work out, I think it's a highly personal, just add what you think you need in your life. I think, a year from now, I could be in mourning, and I could add, I forget what the name of it is, but there's a stone specifically for mourning. Add things to personalize it to your craft and what you need. And eventually it will evolve, and it will grow its own energy. And it will smell amazing. So, that is that. Now, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to create a label. So what I'm going to do is, you don't really want it to look all that great, so just sort of start ripping at the paper. Alright, so that's what I've got. Now, I have this candle burning over here that's been burning. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to burn the edges. Just burn the edges where they look, basically give it the burned parchment paper look. I have my windows open, do not worry. I am not dwelling in the smoke here, although some days. And careful, it will continue burning even after you blow out the flame. You don't need it big, you just need it big enough to write on. Be careful, very, very careful, to use proper fire safety. Do not hurt yourself. Do not burn yourself. I'm not getting sued for this shit. I am not responsible. Use proper fire safety. Gloves if you have them. Safety glasses. Whatever you think you need to do to make sure you don't get burned, do it. Because I can't afford to pay your medical bills. Just be shit out of luck. Alright. This is our label. Now, you want to use, let's see. something like this, I'm going to use a Sharpie. I'm just going to write on it. Let's see. Sacred salts. I don't have the best handwriting. Y'all probably can just calligraphy the fuck out of that and it will look amazing, but mine is going to look kind of trashy. Let's see. Now, I'm using a bottle of Mod Podge, if I can. Let's see. Alright, let's see. Now, let's see. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to put it over the ball label because I don't want ball on mine. There's probably a better way to do that, but that is what I'm going to do for my label. And it doesn't look amazing. It didn't look awful. It's just sort of something fun you can do to get a bit of effect. It would look better if it if it was a better label. But next thing I'm going to do, just to pretty it up, is I have this cloth, and I am going to cut just all right. Now, let's see. This is easier when you look at tutorials than it is in person. I promise you that. Alright, there you have it. It's not perfect. It's not phenomenal. But you have sacred salts that look pretty. And you can use them in your spell work. Now, one thing I will say is that while that's on display, y'all can look at it, critique it, if you will. Different kinds of witches are going to have different kinds of sacred salts. A kitchen witch that uses most of their magic in the kitchen might want something more seasoning based. You know, theirs might be more of a rub looking type thing. Shit, I done ruined my... It's alright. It'll live. Or I'll live. It might not, but I will. Might use something... You don't want to put hair in it if, you know, it's kitchen. You don't want to use toxic stones. You don't want to use toxic metals, toxic... or, you know, maybe instead of using essential oils, use a bit of infused oil. That way it's more food safe. You know, I don't know exactly what y'all are going to want to do, but... That's an idea. If you use, if you are, I guess, a tea witch or a potion witch, you might not want to use salt. You might use, I don't know, sugar instead, and get the sugar and do sort of put tea leaf in there and just do that like that and make tea bags out of it. I don't know. I'm not a tea witch. I'm not a potion witch, so I wouldn't know how you would do that. But again, you certainly wouldn't want to use toxic materials. Anything like hair would not go good in it unless you just like hair in your tea or your food. A thought for people who do like bath magic, you know, ritual baths, etc. If you want something like that, you can use to prepare yourself for ritual. You can make it in a bit of more in line with bath salts, as it's like a bath salt base, and then add herbs and stuff to it. But again, you will want to use things that aren't toxic, although you could use essential oils. So depending on what kind of magic you use, you can use it for different things, create it for different things, and it's all completely functional. It's completely customizable. You don't have to do it my way, you can do it your way, but I think that was something that was very important to show for my first artsy tutorial, I guess. So there you go. I'm going to sign off now. I'm thinking about doing some other things like this. I'll probably do a series for different powders and such that you can get or make, that includes different herbs and salts and stuff for different properties. I might do like I was thinking about doing a warding powder or warding salts. And I don't know, I'm going to have to research into that to figure out exactly how I'm going to do it, but it'll probably be similar to this, but just warding based. Maybe less salt, although probably there will be salt in it because salt is protective. A banishing jar is coming up. I've created I don't know if I've created it, but I came up with it for me. A way to make a banishing jar out of color magic rather than herbs and such, which is what normally a banishing jar consists of. It is going to be a more expensive project, the banishing jar, so it might be a couple weeks before I do that. But yeah, alright. I'm going to sign off now. Bye, y'all.